All right, I'm going to tell you the truth about those Super Bowl ads. They're useless. They're absolutely useless. Okay, and the proof is that whenever somebody says that's a great ad, you know it was a bad ad. Why? Because they noticed the ad. You don't want them noticing the ad. You want them saying, that's a great product. That's a great service. I've got to have that product. So when they see the product, they're not seeing the ad. When they see the ad and say how great the ad is, you know it's a total screw up, a freaking waste of money. Okay? $5 million for a 30-second ad in Super Bowl. You know, there's broadly speaking, there's two kinds of advertising. Okay? There's general advertising, which is never measured, and it's put together by these young, creative, talented guys who think that the purpose of advertising is to entertain you. But there's a narrower field of advertising that's for more serious businessmen, and it's called direct response advertising. And these guys who put together direct response advertising, of which I am one, they measure response. They have to know what actually works in advertising and what doesn't work. And your purpose is not to entertain, but to sell. Your purpose is not to entertain, but to sell. Okay? The Super Bowl ads, obviously, their purpose is to entertain, but they're not going to make any sense on the business side. A surprising number of Super Bowl advertisers go out of business. Think pets.com. $5 million for 30 seconds. What the hell are they thinking? All right, now back to general advertising versus direct response advertising. One of the biggest things that we learn in direct response is that people buy your product and your service just to get benefits. They buy for the benefits. They don't buy because you entertained them. They only buy to get benefits. What are the benefits your product is able to give people? Benefits is not the product point. This is a great difference. If you're not going to, you can't be an advertising man, a true advertising man, a professional, unless you understand the difference between the feature and the benefit. You see, if a coat of paint on a car is a feature, but beauty is the benefit. Nobody buys a coat of paint, but lots of people buy beauty. Nobody buys, you know, uh, a coat of paint, they buy styling. Nobody buys a coat of paint, they buy the ability to impress the neighbors and the Joneses. See, what is the benefit of your coat of paint? Okay? And regarding $5 million for 30 seconds, you can't sell anything in 30 seconds. You're going to need more time than that to build up the story of your product or service. You're going to need more time than that. So if they took a 60-second ad on the Super Bowl, would that mean they'd spend $10 million? Would they actually get that money back? You see, you're supposed to measure advertising not in a popularity contest, but you're supposed to measure advertising in the amount of cash it brings your company, measurably brings your company, or the amount of new customers it brings your company. Okay? That's two ways of measuring it, because if you measure the immediate cash, well, that's one thing, that's nice. But if you measure how many new customers it brought you, well, that could also include future sales from repeat business. All right. Okay. So if you really want profits in your business, you want to lower your selling costs. Okay. Let's say it takes you $300 to make a given product. It's going to cost you also something to sell it. Selling costs are an important factor. And if you're worried about selling costs, you're not going to be in the Super Bowl with a Super Bowl ad. $5 million for 30 seconds. Okay, Looking at my notes here so I won't forget anything. And again, I want to tell you, if everyone says that was a great ad, it sucked. You don't want them saying that's a great ad. You want them saying that's a great product. Um, if you're smart about your money, you'll spend your marketing money in the arenas where people do respond. People are not watching the Super Bowl in a mentality that would allow them to respond. It's a party time. If you want to advertise on television, you need to be in the time slots in which people do respond. That would be late night television. People have already gone to the bathroom during all the commercial breaks by the time late night shows up. People have put the kids to bed. All the distractions are gone. If you want me to give you my best advice, advertise at 2 o'clock in the morning. The time is cheap at 2 o'clock in the morning. There are fewer people watching television, but they're more responsive. If you want response, if you want people to come in and buy your product, you need to be in a market, in an arena where you'll get the response more than on the Super Bowl. Okay, if you're smart, you'll spend money on direct mail. If you're smart, you'll build an email list and drip on them every day. If you're smart, you'll do YouTube marketing. If you're smart, you'll market to your old customers to get repeat sales, because that's a little universe that hardly any businesses tap into on a regular basis. It's like, you know, undiscovered cash. And again, if you're smart, you'll advertise in some newspapers and magazines with full page ads, not little ads, full page ads, so that you can do a complete selling job, so that you can convince them 100% to buy your product. You see, if you don't convince in the direct marketing, the direct response universe, if you don't convince people to buy right now 100%, you're not going to get the business. They don't go back and reread your ad. They either respond now or they don't. If you convince them 80% of the way, you've lost the sale. You've got to convince them 100% right now that this is the right thing to do to part with their money and buy your product, okay? And so you need a full page ad in magazines like Popular Mechanics, or if you're going to do trade magazines like Chiropractor Today, you need a full page ad with 1,000 words in that full page ad, so that you can totally convince the reader of your story and why he should buy to get those benefits that he wants. Okay, is that enough? If you want some help in marketing your product or service, I think you should pick up the phone and call me now. Follow that impulse. I have been in direct response marketing for 30 years, since the 80s, and I have spent millions of dollars of my own and clients' money in testing various ideas and learning what works and what doesn't work. And I can tell you that entertainment is a risky way to go. You can entertain people, but they never pull out their checkbook to buy from you if you entertain them. They laugh, they pat you on the back, they say good job, and then they move along. You've got to get in a whole different frame of mind in order to get them to stop and think about your product in a serious way as to how it's going to benefit them and enhance their life both now and in the future. And I've done a lot of this. I've done a lot of this research, and I know by and large what works and what doesn't work. And I can spot a good ad in an instant. I can tell you those Super Bowl ads are by and large useless. Call me. Let's get some marketing working for your company to bring you new customers, new profits, new sales, and a bunch of repeat customers too. All right? Call me.